Good afternoon and welcome to BJC Mitzvah Day number 229, part 5. Used in Sefer Hachinuch, Mitzvah Day keeps your soul on its way, dedicated for Refuah Shlema of Gedai Asher ben Shoshanam Yerim. He should be speedy Refuah Shlema. Okay, continuing with the prohibition of robbery. Again, part 5, found in the third book, Parshas Kedoshim. The Chinuch discusses the law regarding one who purchases from a robber. The law of one who purchases from a robber, again, a gazlan, is like that of one who purchases from a thief, a ganav, which was discussed in Mitzvah 224. Namely, the law states that there is a distinction between having bought the stolen goods from a well-known thief and one who is not well-known. These laws include as well that which the sages stated in Bava Kama, that it is forbidden to derive benefit from the property of a person whose possessions can all be assumed to come from robbery. However, if some of what he possesses was acquired by legal means, not through robbery, even if it is only a small percentage of his possessions, then it is permitted to benefit from him, i.e. one may make use of his property. This leniency applies unless one knows for certain that this particular item, this item itself, from which he is currently benefiting, is a stolen item. The remaining laws of robbery, as well as the laws of Yeush, giving up hope, and Shinoi Rishus, change of domain, and their other details, are set forth in the 9th and 10th chapters of Bava Kama. Says the author, I've already written some of those laws in the 11th mitzvah obligation of Parshas Vayikra. This prohibition applies in every location and all times to men and women. One who transgresses this mitzvah and robs his fellow, God forbid, of the value of a prut or more, again the smallest coin, has violated a mitzvah prohibition. But malchus is not incurred for violating this prohibition, since it is remedied by the mitzvah obligation to return the stolen goods. Mitzvah 130, as it is stated, he shall return the stolen item. Even if one negates the possible fulfillment of his mitzvah obligation, that is to say, he burns the stolen item or throws it into the ocean, which is a place where it will never again be found, he nevertheless does not receive lashes, since it is a prohibition that is subject to restitution, and that he is to pay back to the owner the amount that the stolen item was worth. The Chinuch concludes with a special punishment of a robber who denies his theft in court and Beis Din and swears to that effect. If the robber denies having stolen the item and swears falsely to that effect, he must add a fifth to his repayment and is required to bring an asham offering as well as a guilt offering, as is set forth in Bava Kama and in the last chapter of Makos. Well, we finished. Thank you for listening to Sponsor Future Mitzvah 36 for 100 of the gold. Let's go back and just do one quick footnote. We said that there is a distinction when you buy something if it's a well-known thief and one who's not well-known. So he says, see Mitzvah 224, he says, although most Rishonim, most rabbis in the 11th century agree with the Chinuch, the author, that the laws of one who purchases from a robber are the same as those pertaining to one who purchases from a thief, some argue that purchasing from a robber is worse, in that word of a robbery spreads rapidly. In their opinion, purchasing from any robber would always be the equivalent of purchasing from a well-known thief. Interesting. Okay. Thanks for listening. Like I said, sponsorship 36 for 100 of the gold. Have a wonderful rest of your day.